just ahead on CTV News, we're one day away from the at-large seat election. Plus, Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to pick her running mate this week. And 2 local athletes win big at the Olympics. Those stories and more, CTV News starts now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for August 5th. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. The primary election is tomorrow for the special election to fill the vacant at-large position on the county council. Early voting has been underway since last week and ends today at 8 p.m. Then tomorrow will be your last chance to vote for one of the Republican or Democrat candidates. For this election, every registered Democrat or Republican in the county received a mail-in ballot that they can drop off, or you can visit a voting center in your district.
Personally, I always expect a high turnout when we have elections. I think people should always exercise their right to vote. As it relates to turnout, we have received more than 35,000 ballots through the mail and through our drop boxes. And so people are really coming out. You do not need to bring in ID. You simply need to show up and verify your name, address, and you will be looked up on the registry and what we call our e-poll book, and you will be able to proceed.
Visit elections.maryland.gov to find your nearest voting center. And we've been providing you coverage on the high-stakes race for Maryland's U.S. Senate seat. And as you get ready to cast your ballot in the fall, it's important to know where the candidates stand on key issues. On immigration reform, Republican Larry Hogan says he supports fixing the asylum process for refugees, strengthening Border Patrol, and increasing funding to border enforcement, and dismantling criminal cartels. Democrat Angela Alsobrooks says she supports reforming the broken immigration system. And as county executive, she's pushed for, quote, fair treatment of immigrants regardless of legal status. And Kamala Harris will be setting off on a tour across the country tomorrow, hitting key battleground states and promoting the Democratic ticket. The only thing missing, her running mate. Harris is expected to announce her pick before the Tuesday tour and spent the weekend interviewing contenders in Washington. Those included Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Any of the choices could help Harris reach more voters, like Kelly, whose state shares a 370-mile border with Mexico, or Walz, who comes from a more rural part of the country. And as we enter peak hurricane season, FEMA is urging residents to keep an eye on the forecast no matter where you live. This is the scene in Florida's Big Bend region as Hurricane Debbie made landfall this morning, dumping more than a month's worth of rain on the area. Late summer through early fall is typically the most active period of the Atlantic hurricane season. If you haven't prepared your family and your home, FEMA says now is the time.
You need to have supplies on hand, supplies in your house in case you have to shelter in place, and also a kit to take with you if you're asked to evacuate. And then you want to be informed. So you want to sign up for alerts in your area so that you can get instructions from emergency officials and then follow them, quickly.
We have to assume that we are going to have several, are going to, potentially have multiple impacts just because we're emergency managers. And as emergency managers, we have to look at the reasonable worst case scenarios. We have to be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. And that's, we're going to pretty much be having that type of posture as we go over the next 3 months.
Debbie has weakened to a tropical storm, but forecasters say record-setting rain could pummel Georgia and South Carolina in the coming days as the system heads east. You can visit ready.gov for more information on preparing for hurricanes. And a local police department uses a drone to capture suspects allegedly involved in recent car thefts. Seat Pleasant police located a vehicle that was reported stolen near the 6200 block of Central Avenue back on July 31st. The department started monitoring the car using a drone. The vehicle crashed into another car at the intersection of East Capitol Street and Southern Avenue Northeast, and police were ultimately able to arrest 19-year-old Antoine Lowry and a juvenile boy. Officers also recovered a handgun with an extended magazine and cocaine. A new project in Carroll County is set to tackle limited water resources in an unconventional way. The project, named Pure Water Westminster, plans to reuse already treated wastewater, retreat it, then transport it to reservoirs. The already treated wastewater would have passed drinking water standards, but putting it through another treatment process not only ensures safety, but peace of mind for residents weary of the new process. This technology has already been used across the country and could even expand to Anne Arundel County in the near future. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, a local doctor has received a Lifetime Achievement Award. Find out how her work in the community is inspiring others.
When people ask us who we are, we tell them we're problem solvers, opportunity creators, community builders, and change makers. We are Rotary. Around the world, our network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, and leaders volunteer their skills, expertise, and resources to solve issues and address community needs. We are people of action. Join us, and together, we can make an even greater impact. Find out how you can get involved at rotary.org/action.
She's an advocate for Maryland nurses and continues to use her expertise to improve the health care for county and state residents. CTV News sat down with Dr. Rachel Sherman of Hospice of the Chesapeake and talked about the work that drives her every day.
Do what I do for accolades. I just want to see my community better.
Meet Dr. Rachel Sherman. Through her work, she's looking to improve hospice and palliative care for patients across the state, but particularly here in her home county of Prince George's. She recently clocked more than 4,000 hours of volunteer work, which landed her the 2024 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award at the Juneteenth Celebration of Black Networking Awards event.
If no one steps up, then our community will fail. And that's part of the reason why I dedicate so much of my time outside of work and even within my work, just making sure that I address everything in my community that I possibly can. So when you stop counting the hours and you look at the good that you're doing, it makes it so much easier.
Sherman wears many hats and likes it that way. She not only is an Army veteran, but she is also a nurse practitioner and is on staff at the University of Maryland Capital Region Medical Center in Largo. But her passion is what she is doing with Hospice of the Chesapeake as the Director of Advocacy and Legislative Affairs.
So I'm not just prescribing medications and giving orders. It's actually sitting at dining room tables, talking with family members. If I'm in the grocery store and someone comes with a need because they know I work for hospice, I take the time to talk to them, to empower the community. So that's part of what I do.
Sherman says two of the biggest challenges that Maryland nurses are facing is the high cost of a nurse education and safety in the workplace.
Nurses are subjected to violence all the time. And it's not that people turn a blind eye, but they're so busy. People don't recognize the danger, the hazard that comes with being a nurse. Even in hospice, we're going into people's homes. You never know what you're going to encounter. Is it going to be a dog? Is it going to be an unsanitary environment? Is there going to be some type of family dynamic that we have to be prepared to deal with? And we can't just walk away. Nurses are not trained to do that. We can't walk away. And then we take all of that home. So you have to think about the mental impact on nurses as well, especially coming through COVID. My profession has been through so much, and we continue to go through so much, but yet we continue to show up.
Sherman is also on the Maryland Board of Nursing and was appointed to the board by Governor Westmore back in 2023. For more details on the services of the Hospice of the Chesapeake, visit the website on your screen. Well, workers should expect less pay raises in 2025, according to a recent survey of companies across the country. The stats from the Pay Scale Salary Budget Survey says workers should expect 3.5% pay increases on average. That's down 0.1% from what we've seen this year so far, and even more so from the 4% average in 2023. But pay scale data shows about 85% of employees are expected to get a pay raise of some kind before the end of 2024. And the unemployment rate reaches 4.3% in July, up 0.2% since June. Economists say the cracks in the labor market are stemming from high interest rates set by the Federal Reserve that have still not been cut. But Fed Chair Jerome Powell says despite the upticks in the unemployment rate, the labor market is actually normalizing. Powell also says the central bank needs to see inflation drop even more before cutting interest rates, and said that could be possible as soon as September. And a study by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy reported that undocumented immigrants accounted for $97 billion in tax revenue 2 years ago. The study included federal, state, and local tax, showing that undocumented immigrants accounted for 46% of their local and state taxes. The tax revenue generated was used for programs like Medicare, Social Security, and unemployment insurance, all programs that undocumented immigrants cannot benefit from. The study suggests that undocumented immigrants are actually dramatically upholding government resource programs, contrary to the belief that they are destroying them. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs is here with our Monday Sports page, and I hear a celebration is in store for some of our local DMV athletes.
That's right, Mariah. It was such a great weekend for the DMV. What's up, sports fans? Hope you had a good weekend. And coming up on your Monday Sports page, swimmer Katie Ledecky and track and field runner Noah Lyles show out at the Olympics. I'll have more details on what the pair did soon. You don't want to miss it. Stay right there.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Okay, everybody, grab a seat because it's time for your Monday Sports page. We begin with some track and field news as Virginia product Noah Lyles made headlines over the weekend as he took home the gold in the 100-meter final. Lyles started the race off a little slow, but as the race went on, he was able to catch up to his opponents. And in the end, he leaned his head and chest over the line just enough till he came in first place, running the race in 9.79 seconds, which was a personal best. The race was so close that he beat Jamaica's Kashane Thompson, who came in second place by just 5/1000th of a second. Switching gears to the world of swimming, another DMV athlete secured a gold medal over the weekend. Katie Ledecky, who was from Maryland, won the gold medal in the 800-meter final on Saturday. Ledecky has absolutely dominated this race, as this is the 4th consecutive time she has come away with gold in this event. And this made her just the first female Olympian to accomplish this feat. Congratulations, Noah and Katie. You guys continue to make the DMV proud. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders will have a breath of fresh air this week as the team will travel to New Jersey for a joint practice with the New York Jets ahead of their preseason matchup. And quarterback Jaden Daniels is looking forward to the change of scenery.
I'm very excited. I love the game of sport. I love the game of football. I love playing it. I'm very passionate. I love to compete. So going out there will be a different challenge for not just me, but the whole team. Going against somebody you're not familiar with. Just to see where the cars fall. Know that we could go out there and, we can make mistakes. We try to execute at a high level, but, that's kind of what this time is for. Just to go out there and see what we can do, trial and error, and move forward.
The practice will be held on Thursday, followed by the two teams taking the field for a preseason game on Saturday at noon. Moving on to college football, another season is approaching for the Terps football squad. If the team is going to make some serious noise this year, it's going to take effort from everyone on the team to do so. And running back Roman Hemby touched on doing his part to make sure that his team is a force to be reckoned with in the Big Ten.
Running back coach always talks about getting better collectively, and I think that if I can do my part and kind of giving them little nuggets and things that I wish I had when I first got here, and over my years or experience-wise, giving them those little things, it kind of helps us collectively. And when we can help ourselves collectively, we can make plays at any given time. And we know, though we hate it, the game of football, things happen where injuries take part and things like that. And I think that we'll be equipped to, be able to not miss a beat with anybody that's in the game. And that's something that we really enjoy having.
Hemby and the rest of the Terps open up the season at home versus UConn on August 31st. And wrapping up sports, the Baltimore Orioles came out on top in their final game of their series against the Cleveland Guardians yesterday, 9-5. The Birds will travel north to take the diamond against the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow at 7:07. And the Washington Nationals will return to action tonight. The team will match up against the San Francisco Giants at 6:45. And that is your Monday sports page.
Thank you, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear. Tuesday, we're going to reach a high of 94, but look out. We're expecting showers and thunderstorms after 2 p.m. Wednesday, we have a 70% chance of rain. It's going to be a high of 81 and low of 70 degrees. Thursday, that rain is sticking around. It's going to be in the 80s, but expect showers with thunderstorms after 2 p.m. And now for a look at our community calendar. Tomorrow night, the Prince George's County Police Athletic League is hosting a Skills and Drills basketball clinic for boys and girls aged 10 to 15. There will be several sessions starting tomorrow. Times will vary based on age groups. For more information on how to register, visit the website on your screen. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Good night.